Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Great Gatsby, the 2013 film. Since it's been remade at least 5 times from what I know. This one stars Tobey Maguire, Carey Mulligan, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Isla Fisher, I believe is her name. Yeah, as well as a bunch of other people which can't think of off the top of my head. Um, nor in the IMDb because it's just a messed up order in my opinion. So yeah, but those are seem to be the four main cast, I guess, or main top billing cast or whatever the case is. But yeah, those are the four that I remember right off the top of my head, as well as the ones I can recognize from the IMDb. But whatever, besides the point. So yeah, Great Gatsby 2013, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, Isla Fisher, and Carey Mulligan. And yeah, this film is directed by Baz Luhrmann, I believe is how you say his name. Luhrmann, and yeah, and I, and I know Jay Z is somehow involved in this project too. I know he did the soundtrack, and I think he was also like the executive producer of this film or something like that. That's what I heard, and I also saw from the credits. So yeah, but besides the point, um, yeah, let's get on to the review. So as usual, before I start my review, 10 seconds spoiler warning as usual. For those who haven't seen the movie, I caught it on my TV very like 5 minutes after it started. So, try to find it on your TV, and if not, Netflix or I think it's out already on DVD and Blu-ray. So go check it out there. Redbox, whatever the case is. Try to watch this version, the 2013 version, before you watch this review. So 10 seconds as usual, starting now. I almost say moving my hand. Whatever. Okay, so 10 seconds are up as usual. Don't complain down in the comments below or be messaging me that I never gave you a fair warning, because I did. So yeah, as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rate. So in this film, you have Leonardo DiCaprio portraying Jay Gatsby. He's basically your everyday eccentric, whatever, eccentric billionaire playboy. The only catch is that he's a hopeless romantic, who was split up from his girlfriend or lover, I guess you could say, Daisy. Um, Daisy, who I believe is portrayed by Carey Mulligan, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, he basically got separated because of the war. I don't think they specified which war, but it was because of a war, and um, yeah, he goes off to the war, and eventually a bunch of things happen to him, and it takes him 5 years to actually get back to New York where he is. Um, he's basically trying to reconquer the heart of Daisy Morgan. Not Daisy Morgan, Carey Mulligan's character Daisy, and Daisy still loved him even though she got married, but that was just for the money. So you also have Tobey Maguire's character Nick, I believe it was his name, who is apparently cousins with Daisy, and he also happens to be the neighbor of Jay Gatsby. So Gatsby tries to get Nick to sign him up on a date with Daisy, and eventually they do get their date, and they do have their dates and whatever. They start going out and whatever, but the husband of Daisy realizes something, and he eventually finds out that Daisy has been cheating with Gatsby. No, yeah, I think that's how you word it, and he eventually finds out, and yeah, so one day during their escape, or yeah, while they're escaping, the husband, because he's pretty pissed off after they escape. Um, Daisy, originally thought to be Gatsby at the moment, but then turned out to be Daisy. She ran over this one woman, and then the husband of that woman decides to murder Gatsby because of this description of the car. And then Gatsby is pretty famous. So yeah, I mean yeah, it's basically that. And yes, the plot does seem that convoluted. And that's basically the one of two major complaints I have for this film. The plot is just so off. I mean, I know this is based on a book, and it's like the fifth remake, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I've never read the book, and I've never seen any of the previous movies up until this one. So I didn't really know how convoluted this plot was. Gatsby, spoiler, does eventually die at the end of the movie, and you do have this pretty cool, touching scene between Nick and dead Gatsby, I guess is what you call him, where even though a bunch of people came to his parties, because he threw parties almost every single weekend. Even though all these people came to his parties, not one person ever came to his funeral except for Nick. Not even Daisy came. So you do have this pretty cool symbolism that no, you don't really you don't know who your friends are to the moment comes, I guess. I guess moments had to be death. So you read. I guess well, Gatsby never actually learned this, but if you guys know what I'm talking about. If Gatsby were to still be alive in some form, he'd know that his only true friend was Nick, who was Tobey Maguire's character. So I guess there is some pretty cool symbolism in that. I mean, yeah, and the characters were pretty interesting for the most part. I will also give him that. And the acting was also pretty decent for the most part. And that's really all I could say for the positives. I mean, the special effects, I guess, were pretty cool to see every here and there. I mean, there were some scenes that caught my attention. They're pretty cool. And the way that Gatsby was portrayed was, pretty decent, pretty well done. I mean, I really do prefer Wolf of Wall Street, which Leonardo DiCaprio was also in last year. I think he gave a better performance in Wolf of Wall Street than he did in Great Gatsby. But I still think that he did a pretty good job or decent job or whatever acting in this movie. So yeah, I mean Tobey Maguire, I really haven't seen much of him besides Spider-Man. So I guess it is pretty cool to see him again in a movie. I mean he's still a pretty good actor, so that's good. Everybody else, they're decent. I mean that's really all I could say. I mean the two major complaints I have is that the plot is just convoluted like a motherfucker. I mean, sometimes the plot gets confusing and intertwined and whatever, and it's just off. So I really don't like the plot that much. I mean, it's a decent plot, but the way they're trying to pan it out, it's not that good. So I really do have a problem with the plot. Also, I also do have a problem with the pacing of this film, because, for example, you have like 30 half hour basically of that is entertaining, and then you get to like these 10 minutes which almost put me to sleep, and there were 10 minutes and it felt like 20 hours or 2 hours or whatever you want to call it, however you want to see it. It's just so fast, and then I guess to like a dry stop, and then again it's like super exciting dry stop, like right in the middle, and then super exciting dry stop, super exciting. It's just choppy, and yeah. And I mean, also some of the editing does seem kind of lazy and just panned out and just doesn't look good. There is some lazy editing. I mean, there are parts where you could tell the cast is just bullshitting it. So whatever. And the writing isn't all that good either. I mean, the writing, I mean, at some points it's decent. At other points it's just BS. At other points it's just amazing. And again, BS. And I mean, it's just very choppy, in my opinion. Choppy, convoluted. There's really no other better way to explain it. Now, I'm not calling this a bad film because it's not really a bad film, but it's just it has problems. That's what I'm saying. I mean, at some points it's just pure BS, and at other points it's just pure genius. There's really no other way to say it. So you're BS or genius. You can't really. I mean, you could have both, but you could. I mean, you can't have You could have a common ground, but whatever. So yeah, now on a rate on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I give this a 6.5 out of 10. A little bit more than decent. I mean, it did keep me entertained for the most part, except for 10 minutes that I just really wanted to go to sleep. And I was like dead in the middle, so whatever. I mean, but it is entertaining. I mean, it is decent, so now we'll give it that. And again, the acting for the most part, is pretty good. I mean, the writing, yeah, it's hit and miss. I mean, for the most part, everything else is hit or miss, but it's still a pretty entertaining movie. It's one of those movies you could just shut your brain off and just watch it. And yeah, 6.5 out of 10 is what I would give it. So yeah. Yeah, so if you've seen this movie, what are your thoughts on this movie, the 2013 version? Because I know there's at least like 5 other versions. And if you've seen any of the older versions, what are your thoughts on it? And do you recommend me watching any of those older versions? And if you've read the book, do you recommend me reading the book or anybody else reading the book? Well, put your thoughts down below in the comment section. And besides that, remember to subscribe. I do movie reviews, I also do comic book reviews, TV show reviews, and a bunch of other things. So definitely stay tuned for those. Remember to share on Facebook, Twitter, or MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.